The champ is here. Kendra Samargis, the returning national champion.
Yes.
But you've been champion like what, 5 times?
Six times.
This is your 6th time.
6 times, yeah.
Dang.
6 times.
Dang, how was it? How was this last time? And it was in Mexico. You guys were in New Mexico?
New Mexico. Yeah, we drove down there. It was good. It was really good. It was a lot of fun. I was able to implement a lot of the things that we've been really working on to like hone in. And so I was super proud of myself for that. So that was really exciting. So
What was the things you were honing in on?
So we've been really focusing on turning my hips a lot more. Like I feel like I've always been just naturally strong and working on like the fundamentals of the boxing part of it and just really focusing on turning my hips, like landing my punches with like authority. We've really been focusing on that. And so this time I was really able to practice that and put it to play, and it played out really good. I got 2nd round stoppage, so it worked really good, I guess. So It was nice.
Yeah. So when you're turning your hips, are you still flaring your ankle? Do you flare your ankle when you're throwing punches still?
Yeah, like lifting it. Is that what you're saying?
Because I feel like that's like the beginner to teach how to turn your hips. Flare that like with a hook. You
like
pivot
to
on
lift your
toe.
foot up. Yeah.
But then there's like philosophies a lot I hear that's like a beginner thing. And then once you get good at turning your hips, you don't need to flare that heel. You just throw that hip into it. What do you do?
I've always turned my foot.
Oh, you
so
do?
I didn't know that was like there was a difference. I just always have been taught to turn my foot, and I feel like that it kind of sets up the next like motion into your next punch.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to argue with you. You guys are putting into practice, showing you everything you're putting in is clearly working.
No, yeah, it was really good. So it was a lot of fun. And then we stayed for the photo and then just drove straight home afterwards. So that was pretty cool. So we just drove all night and made it home.
Oh, you guys drove all the way to New Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Albuquerque?
Yeah, it was only 13 hours though. So it wasn't too bad.
Was it better than we weren't at Lafayette? Where were we at? We went to New Orleans. Where were Louisiana?
Louisiana.
Where the heck were we?
Yeah, Louisiana.
Well, it was Shreveport.
Yeah.
Shreveport, yeah. Oh man, that place.
They're
so scary.
There's so many. They kind of mingle in. I have to tell Jason, like he'll say a place, and I'm like, well, remind me what actually happened there. Like, did I win? Like, who was I fighting? And then he'll tell me. I was like, oh, okay, I remember that place now. But as far as the places, there's so many that
you have to remember the people you were fighting.
Yeah,
like what fight was it? Oh, that was Shreveport.
Yeah, that was Shreveport. Yeah.
Nice. So 2nd round stoppage. Nice. I was watching your highlight
thing.
Your
video.
highlight post.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the full fight, but 2nd round stoppage is just what would you finish it off with? It wasn't in your highlight how you finished it off though.
Well, I think it was like pretty close to that part, that like highlight part. She ended up getting an 8 count after that. And then after that, they let the fight continue. And then I just ran after it again. And then it was like the same thing. She just kind of like mingled in the corner a little bit.
Oh, yeah, you got it right here. There's the whole fight. Oh, okay. I'm not going to watch the whole fight right now just because it's going to be boring yourself for. But I want to scroll over to that stoppage part. It's probably at the end, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, what'd you hit her with? I saw when I was watching, I was like, dang, your movement is just so constantly shifting and moving. And I'm like, here you go. I'll watch that later. But because, I just jumped in. Jason threw me in that cage earlier today. Because put a knot on the top of my head because my dumb ass, like, obviously, I don't even remember how I got up there, but I came home. I was like, there's a knot on my head.
Oh,
and
no.
I'm like, that clearly means I was looking straight at the floor. I must have probably like tried to slip into this.
Oh, no.
And ate it. But I was just like, oh my God, I was so tired. Did you see how tired I was? I was so tired.
You did so good. I was watching you. And also, he fought yesterday. He won.
No way.
He did
really?
so
Oh my
good.
gosh.
Yeah.
Why was I feel bad because I'm a big guy. So I always feel like I don't want to like be hitting people who are about to fight really hard. But then he started kicking my ass, and I'm like, I better start trying a little harder.
No, that's why Jason put you in, because he had a fight, and like we wanted somebody about his size to go with him right before, and so it was really good.
Man, he was
really
tough.
Good.
He feels tough. I was like, because I hit him a couple times pretty good, and I was like, oh shoot, sorry, dude. And he just like, I could see in his eyes that he did not care. He was like, I'm gonna get mine now. I was like, okay, all right, we're in this. But I was super fun. I was so exhausted. It made me just appreciate what you do even more, because I'm like, gosh, dude, the shape you're in to just keep going rounds and rounds. You guys sit there for like hours. It seems like just, all right, you're in next. All right, take a break. You're in now. You're in now. And you're just going and going and going. I did 2 rounds with a guy, and I'm like, oh, I need a break. And I think it's because I hold my breath. I was thinking on the bag, I breathe a lot. Whoo, 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 whoo. I hit the bag, breathe. But when I was thinking, why was I so tired? I think I'm like holding my breath maybe or something. Because I think I have apnea. Irvina tells me all the time that I'm like, I'll hold my breath when I'm doing like, and I like to hold my breath. It feels like kind of good, like pressure or something, like Wim Hof breathing style, you know? Like, I think I'm doing that while I'm sparring. So I got to think about that more, because once you're tired and sparring, like I can't do anything.
Yeah. So when everybody always talks about how much noise I make when I am shadowboxing or sparring or just doing anything as far as boxing, but I'm always making like extravagant noises, and it helps me to breathe.
What's your noise?
It's like see.
Oh, yeah, see. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I recognize
it's like yeah. And everybody talks about it. They're like, your noise is so different, but it helps me to breathe. And so this one girl actually came up to me, and she was a young boxer, and her and her dad came up, and they said, we watched you fight, and we want you to know that, like, we were so surprised at how big of gas tank you have. Like, you have so much stamina. You just keep coming. Like, it almost looks like you never get tired. And so I had my daughter start breathing like you, because she has asthma and she has a really hard time. Like, she gets to where she can't go anymore. Like, she physically can't go because she can't breathe. Yeah. And he's like, and it helped her so much. And I was just so flattered. And I was just like, oh my gosh, oh, thank you. Like, it was just so cool. But he's like, yeah, I had her start breathing like you do. And he's like, and it helped her tremendously. But maybe you should try that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm aware when I'm drilling. I'm aware this is what I'm supposed to do. But I think when someone's punching me in the face,
everything goes
a
out
lot
the
of
window.
things I have a hard time remembering. Yeah. And so for me, it's like, you got to try to remember. Yeah. That's what the thing is with you guys. You guys are putting so much repetitions. Like, people like especially your kids, when I look at them, like, they are so freaking comfortable in the ring sparring all the time, because you guys live in there. Yeah. So it's just like normal life. I feel like Book of 5 ring style, you know, you guys fight the way you walk and walk the way you fight. It's just like a normal part of life. It's just, there's no too much thinking. This is what you do. Yeah. Yeah. But speaking of conditioning, how do you get your gas tank so high? Do you attribute this to sparring? What's your guys' like strength and conditioning approach?
So I do think that sparring has a lot to do with it. I do believe that, like, to get it that high, you obviously need to put in rounds, especially when you're being hit. But I also do a lot of sprint training. So I was doing a lot of like miles, like just building the aerobic base. But sprint training, I would say, has helped me the most. So when I noticed that it was starting to get better was when I started sprinting instead of just running like miles and miles and miles. So I will do like, I usually do like every other day, like sprint drills every other day. So we'll do like, it's kind of like a hard day, easy day a little bit, but it lets your body like recover a little bit. But the sprinting will help a lot. So I will do like a minute on, a minute off, and just like
going 100%.
Yeah, as fast as you can go for that whole entire minute. And then a minute rest. Yeah. Oof. And then you could do it with anything. You could do it with, like, I mean, obviously sprinting, but you could do it on the rower. You could do it on the assault bike. You can do it on. Get
that heart rate maxed out, like up high. What's your heart rate normally? You do 180?
Yeah, I would imagine according to like paper, my max heart rate is 190, but I mean, I've gotten higher than that.
Oh my gosh. That's a compliment. I feel proud when I work out, and I like to monitor my heart rate, because it's like, that doesn't lie about how hard you work.
Yeah.
Especially if you surpass your the
Your
age.
max.
Yeah, it's like the age thing. Your heart's supposed
yeah.
to go 190 max. And if you're pushing it beyond that, I'm like,
Yeah. So I mean,
seems scary.
there's always statistics for stuff, but I think I could do better.
You know your body.
I could do more. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have been like fine tuning your body specifically for years.
For a long time.
Because you used to have issues with like diet and all this stuff and your hormone imbalances and things like that you had to you guys were like a mechanic on a car fine tuning the engine.
It was so crazy. And you know what is even more crazy? We were just chatting about this as I actually got my genetics tested.
Oh, really?
And when I was at the Olympic Training Center, they did it for us. And when going through all the results, all the things that we figured out, like through trial and error, are actually like in stone. Like that's actually my genetics.
Oh my gosh. You guys just took the longest road possible.
Yeah, I know. I was like, if I would have did this a long time ago.
Yeah.
But like sometimes I would be around other like elite level athletes and I would just be thinking like, how can they eat that and perform? Like if I ate that, I would be in bed all day. Like I would just be sleeping all day long. And like come to find like I'm like gluten intolerant and wheat intolerant. And I have like an intolerance to sugar too. And like all
the good stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? I would, if I would eat that, I kid you not, like I'd wake up the next day, my eyes would be like so swollen. My cheeks would be like super puffy. Like you can tell, you can look at me and be like, what did you eat yesterday? But I would see other people doing it and I'd be like, how come they can eat all this stuff and I can't? But it's taken us a long time to figure out all of these like different things that really work for me. And then getting that back, it's like, well, it is actually like set in stone, which I mean, it sucks, but it's kind of a good thing. And to help be the best athlete I can be is just stick to the plan that works and just keep growing.
Yeah. And with how much you guys work out, I would imagine this is how my mind works for me. So I'm assuming maybe you have this thought a little bit is you work out so hard that you're like, I could eat some bread.
Yeah.
I earned it.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm going to earn it again tomorrow.
Exactly. I'm human. So yes, 100%. But I will pay the price big time, even as little as oatmeal. Oatmeal,
that's what everyone thinks is healthy.
Oh yeah, no, my face will break out, and I will try. I love oatmeal. I think oatmeal and egg whites are just mixed together. It sounds so gross, but
that sounds gross.
It is like the best thing in the world. I think it's delicious. But
like a scrambled egg,
like just egg whites, like it's scrambled up, and then.
Okay.
You put a little bit of cinnamon on it and a little bit of sugar-free syrup. Oh. So good.
Wait, are you cooking this like in a pan?
Yeah, well, you cook it separately and then you just put it in the same bowl.
Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if you're just like dumping egg whites in your oatmeal.
No.
Like, yeah, it's like a little slimy flavor that I like.
No. You cook it separately, but I would keep trying to eat that, and every time I would reintroduce it again, my neck would start breaking out. Like I'd start getting zits on my neck and like,
oh my gosh,
just
start being a teenager again.
Yeah. And I don't really break out like ever. And every time I would eat oatmeal, I would break out every single time. And then come to find out I am like intolerant to gluten and wheat. And I tried to do gluten free and still same thing. My body just doesn't like it.
So you think I should do some sprinting to be able to build that endurance up? Because, I feel like boxers, they get like a image of like running long distances.
And yeah, everybody does.
Is that like a cut weight thing?
Yeah. Well, I think that. And then I think that like the Rocky movies played a role in that too. Like you just
jogging forever through Philly until you get to the end and sprint.
Yeah, exactly. But it's actually like, if you think about when you're boxing, it's like super fast, like you're throwing your combinations and then you retreat or get out, take a different angle, and then you're kind of recovering for a second. And then same thing again. You're working at your maximum heart rate for almost that entire 3 minutes. So just jogging long distance, you're not getting your heart rate near close to where it needs to be. And so sprinting will get your heart rate to there so that when you feel that, it's not such an uncomfortable feeling. It's like more, okay, I've been here before.
Do you think it's like, do you guys ever like combine sprints with like then going and drilling on a bag? Because then I would imagine that could be like, I think for me, when I feel my exhaustion setting in a sparring session, my hands, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to just
Yeah.
gauge distance because I'm too tired to
hold your hands
So
up.
I'm going to just keep my distance so I can like try to, you see this in like professional boxing all the time. Like with those guys, top of the food chain, they're always hands down, Canelo
Yeah.
styling, you know, and then everyone's like, look, they keep their hands down. I can just do the same thing. And then you just eat a punch straight in the nose.
Yeah. So we do a drill. It's called burnouts. If you've ever heard us doing burnouts before, but it's on the bags, and you just, for 30 seconds, you're just going as hard and fast as you can go. And then for the next 30 seconds, you just back out and you're just throwing hard punches.
Okay.
1, 2 hard. And then 30 seconds as fast as hard as you can go. And then you back out 1, 2 hard.
So like speed,
Yeah.
and then power.
Yeah.
Power.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
So that's the closest thing that we do normally that I would say could help too. So,
you know, there's a lot of, I hear a lot of philosophies about sparring from like Max Holloway and even Clarissa Shields. I've heard talk about it where they say once you know how to fight, sparring, it just like accumulates damage on your brain or something. And so they don't like to spar too much.
oh, really?
Yeah. But you guys you guys spar all the time. What's your philosophy on that?
So I don't really know. Like, I guess I couldn't really say that I know that for sure or for not sure. You know what I mean? I just feel like that there's always something that needs to be working on. And I feel like I could do it on a bag, or I could do it shadowboxing all the time. But unless you're in that situation where if you do it wrong, you get hit, or you are like defending and trying to do it properly, like that's the only place that you really get it. I just know that. So we spar twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week if we spar on Saturdays too. And then when we were at camp too, when we were at the Olympic Training Center, that's what we did there too. We sparred. Yeah, we sparred every Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, it's more like we're technical sparring too, and we do that too as well. So you're not taking like as much damage, but I mean, you're sparring with like the best of the best. So, I mean, it's hard to say that we're all like being nice to each other or like relaxing, you know what I mean? Cause nobody is, but so I don't know. I guess I don't really know the answer to that. I would imagine that, yeah, you would accumulate damage, but I would say that it's just a double-edged sword. Like how do you expect to get all these things that you're trying to work on to work if you're not putting it into like the field of play? You know what I mean?
Yeah. The more you bleed in there, the less you'll bleed in the real competition. So, I mean, I imagine like from the Marine Corps, it's like you train for the scenarios, the worst case scenarios, as many scenarios as you can, and just keep live drilling everything. Yeah. So that when you get into a real world mission, you're not panicking because I lived in this.
Yeah.
So I guess probably those people who have those philosophies of they don't like to spar a lot, they must think, oh, I already live in that. I'm comfortable enough. I don't need any more lessons. Because for me as a beginner, I feel like a professional boxer when I'm on the bag. I'm like, oh man, I could be a national champion. And then I jump into a sparring match with some guy and I realize how bad I am, how my faults, how I drop my hands, how I get punched in the top of the head because I'm looking at the floor. And it's just, there's different lessons, at least at my level at the bottom. There's totally lessons for me in sparring that you just cannot get anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear, even at your level, that you still feel that getting in that real world, you know, that sparring energy, you're getting valuable feedback still.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. And we use every sparring as to work on something. So every time we go to spar, I have a specific set of like 2 or 3 things. I try to max out at 3 because if you're doing 4 or 5, then it's like, okay, and then I'm working on everything. But I try to focus on 2 or 3 things every single time. And I'm really specifically honing in on those 2 or 3 things and it's always based off of what my previous sessions, because we have cameras in our gym. So every time we spar, I just go back and watch my film every single time. So we don't really have to record it. I just watch on the cameras, and then I'll be like, okay, I was dropping my hands a little bit more today. I need to make sure I was dropping my hands. One day I was bringing my feet really close together for whatever reason that was. I think that day specifically, I was like a little extra fatigued, but I'm really focused on that. I will like write about it. And then my next sparring session, I'm really focused in on those like 2 or 3 things. Or if Jason says something that I did that day that he wants me to work on, then I'm really focused on those like 2 or 3 things the next session. So I am always trying to improve from like previous sessions. So I am going into it with like, and not just like, I'm here to execute you. Like,
yeah. Do you think for you, you're saying dropping your hands, is there ever situations for you guys that you think, like I was describing those head movement moments where you see guys like kind of have their hands down and they're just moving their head because they, I don't know, understand space so well or understand what their opponent's probably going to throw.
Yeah.
Or they're just that confident that their head movement is that amazing.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel yourself wanting to like put your hands down and do some like things?
Well, sometimes in some situations it works. Like you're a little bit faster well, at least I guess I can't say like specifically you are, but I feel like that I am a little bit faster if my hands are down. And sometimes it'll get you out of situations. And then like, I don't do it often because if you do end up getting tagged, then you're like wide open. But sometimes it does work. And when your opponent misses a punch, it like plays a toll not only on their like fatigue level, but their head too as well. Like you just
I missed.
Like you missed over and over again, and you're like dodging it, and you're like,
that's
oh yeah,
demoralizing. I can't touch this person.
Yeah, it is.
Because I think of someone who dropped their hand and ate a hook, Haney and Ryan Garcia, where Ryan Garcia, he throws that left hook. So that snap, bam. But I think he got caught because he brought his right hand down. They have like side by side Ryan Garcia's and I forget who else. But it's the same exact thing with, I think it was with Devin Haney as well. And he brought his hand down. The other guy kept his hand up and it's the same counter.
Yeah.
And the other guy gets it in the glove. Garcia gets it straight in the jaw. So, it seems like keeping your hands up is a very good idea.
Yeah. It's the safest.
What's up with Ryan Garcia?
Oh, I have no idea.
Have you seen?
I have.
Is he like on drugs?
I don't know.
Is he like in the Illuminati?
I have no idea. I don't know. At first I was like, maybe he's nervous to fight. But then like, I don't know. It's just getting weirder and weirder.
It is weird. Is it? I wonder if sometimes I think this is all just like a big marketing ploy.
Yeah.
Like, this is like like Miley Cyrus.
Yeah.
She like goes from Hannah Montana. Then also she like goes crazy and swinging on a wrecking ball, like naked or something.
Oh
and
my
all
gosh.
of a sudden
I forgot about
she's
that.
famous again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is this Ryan Garcia? Because he was like famous, I feel like, before he was like a reputable boxer.
Yeah.
Like, he was building up on amateur fights or something and got his social media following like huge.
Yeah.
And that seemed to be like the gateway that opened up for him to get big professional
To get really
fights.
big. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I was like, I wonder if his numbers started going down a little bit, and they're like, we need to spice it up so you can
Get the views to back up.
That's a weird one for your guys' world. It's like a popularity balance with skill balance because it's like an entertainment industry too.
It is.
So like building up your Instagram and things like that seems to be like a way to get you further in careers in boxing is what it seems like I've seen. What do you feel about that?
I mean, as sad as it is, yeah, I think that it is true. And like it, for the people that like are able to do that, like it's so smart. And I try to do it. Do you want to know the least favorite thing of mine to do is to do that? I swear, like the whole part of like posting online or like videos or anything content. Yeah. I'm just like, oh,
it's work.
Yeah. It's just like, it's not really like the fun part of it that I like you can catch me in the gym.
Yeah.
Like that's the fun part that I personally like. The rest of it is just like, oh, it's just like, it has to be done. So I'll do it, but it's not really my favorite thing to do. You guys are great about it.
And boxing is so great because it's just inherently entertaining.
Yeah.
So like Jason could just record a video of you, hitting pads or just in a little spar and that's entertaining stuff. Like you just want to sit there and see, oh, how's it going? Like for some reason, people are blowing up. I get all over my Instagram algorithm, like random, like kind of like no, like just kind of small people who don't have like 300 follower people or something that I don't even know out of nowhere. Then they're like punching a bag, and I'm like, it has like 12 likes on it. I'm like, what the heck? Do you ever get stuff like that on your Instagram? I'm like, who is? Usually it's kind of crappy. I'm like, I go look at the comments. The one I get all the time is like a bodybuilder dude who's like, when people think you're just a bodybuilder and you don't have got hands, and then they're just punching the bag so stupid. And you're like, you go in the comments and everyone's like, you just proved them all right. Like, you ever see stuff like that? That stuff is hilarious.
It's funny.
So another thing I want to talk to you about. So destruction versus recovery. You guys destroy your body constantly in sparring and working out. How do you balance actually recovering? Because it seems like you're in the gym every single day.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So this has been something like what we talked about that has been like a long time coming. When I first started, I just had the philosophy of like, I just train hard every day. I train hard every single day. And now I've finally come to like the realization that I do need to recover. And the more I recover, the better I am. And like, as much focus as I'm putting into training, I'm now putting into my recovery so that I can train hard again. And so I really started focusing on like a hard day, an easy day, and a hard day, an easy day. And so like my easy days are just as focused as my hard days, but I'm not putting in as much time or as much like pounding on my body. So like, for instance, I won't like that day, I won't be hitting on the heavy bag or like pushing so hard. Those are the days that I will do like the long distance runs or like just to keep that aerobic base built. Or I will do just like light shadow boxing, working on what we're trying to fix, like really focusing on turning my hips or throwing my punches correctly, really focusing on technique. And it allows me to be fully recovered so that when I do go back into my hard day or when I do go into sparring, like I am ready to put 100%. Because I do feel like that when you don't, then you're always given like 80%. You're never really given 100% because you're never really recovered. And when I did get my genetics tested, it did talk about that. And it did say in there that I recover slower than like average people, that I do need a little extra time after like strenuous trainings to recover. And like when he first presented it to me, I was like, no, I don't. Like I was so defensive about it. Like I never get sore. I recover just fine. Like I'm fine. And I really do believe like that it is true. And I believe that it's really helped me to take it to the next level, especially when I do need to call up like peak performance. I am able to. I'm not like, oh my gosh, my legs are so sore. Like, am I going to make it through? And that's really not a thought in my head anymore because I am allowing my body to recover. So it's been a long time coming, but
that seems like a weird balance, especially for fighters to have to find, because in your mind, you're training your mind to be like, nothing is standing in my way. Not even my own body.
Yeah.
And you just want to like David Goggins that thing through everything.
Exactly.
But then it's at the same time, the career you're in is like, it's like you're racing cars and you need your car to be at the most peak performance by the inches. You need to win by inches. So you fine tune it as much as possible. So that seems like you are getting to a good spot of finding that balance.
Yeah. Well, and they're even saying like, so for the longest time, I would really never taper. Like I would never really taper down when I was coming up to competition. And studies have even shown now that like when you taper, it's like a 3% increase in your performance of the day of your performance. So I really have started like when we are going to competitions, like I taper like almost a week out. My training load will decrease dramatically. and I'm not like beating up on the heavy bag forever, sparring or doing all these things. And I really have noticed an increase in my performance. So like it's been something that it's been like we've been working on, but it's, yeah.
That's interesting because so it sounds like your rest days that you were saying is you give your muscular system a break by not, hitting hard or doing things, and you just try to keep your heart working at a light pace with your distancing. So it's like keep the heart going. That seems to be the key, huh?
Yeah.
Versus and let the muscular system like recover.
Like recover, rest. Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder how like people talk about like Whoop and how it says that like it measures their heart rates in the morning.
Oh yes, yeah, like the ring or the wristwatch or whatever
I'm
it
like
is.
a Fitbit guy, but
yeah.
I hear that Whoop.
I know what Whoop. I know what you're talking
about.
Have you
ever used that?
So I haven't. It's like a contract you have to sign with them. So I've thought
really?
about it, and
it's like the terms and agreement.
Well,
or something?
like you get the wristwatch for free.
Okay,
but you pay for it every single month. It's like a monthly contract.
Oh, it's like a subscription.
It's a subscription for like 5 years or something. So I was like, but I have used like the Apple
Watches.
Yeah, the Apple Watches. And I would base a lot of it on like my sleep and stuff. I didn't ever see like my recovery. That shows like how much you have recovered, but my sleep, my restful sleep and how much deeper sleep I would get when I would implement that was so much more. And so I have used that, but as far as like recovering that they offer, I haven't done that. So.
This is the real question. Did seeing the results make you change your sleeping habits, or did it just make you aware of what you're doing?
So no, it did make me change them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, because it was like tremendous. So like I would exactly go to bed every single night at the same exact time and get up every single day at the same exact time. And I still do that. Like being home, we're at the gym a little bit later. So I go to bed every single night at 10 o'clock and get up every single day at 6 a.m. And then, but when I was at camp, I didn't have as much like things to do. Wasn't running the gym or taking care of the kids or doing anything. So I'd go to bed exactly at 9 o'clock and get up at 5.
You had your routine set.
Yeah. But if I get 8 hours, oh my gosh, my like the difference in my training is tremendous. And back to the genetics testing. I know, here we are again. They said that, that the more my circadian rhythm is on, that like it's associated with breast cancer. So I have 2 gene like risk allies for that. Breast cancer runs in my family, and my grandma has had it, and my great grandma has had it, and my great grandma actually passed away from it. And so it's like really predominant in my family. And they said it's really tied in with your circadian rhythm. And so I am like super anal about my sleep because one, it helps me perform. But then when they said that too, I was like, oh my gosh, like, and I feel a huge difference if I don't sleep that much.
So it's by that circadian rhythm, like establishing a routine so that your biological clock has like pattern.
Yeah. Like a routine that your body is
so
set
like
to.
Late nights is bad.
Yeah.
That's freaky stuff. Cancer's a freaky bitch.
Yeah.
On and off season, one thing I want to talk to you about that was you guys seem like you're on season all the time.
Yeah.
Because so you always have a fight coming.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do you guys even have like an off season?
So not really, but this year there will be a little bit of time. We're so excited. So all the way, so we have like, we're fighting every 2 weeks for this last like couple little bit, these last couple months. And then, but we have Golden Gloves coming up in May. And then we have one more big tournament in June, which is JO's, the Junior Olympics. And then July and August, we have like a break. So we're going to go, take the kids to Disneyland and go take a little vacation. And yeah, so we're like super excited about that. But yeah, usually we're pretty busy like all the way through the whole entire year.
That seems tough on your body.
Yeah.
To be like always ready.
Well, and just, I feel like just being that intense all the time, it makes it hard. Like, I mean, for other people to kind of understand, or like even my family to like be around me a little bit. Like I'm just always so intense. Like everything is always so like perfect. I need to go train. I need to eat these foods. I need to sleep. I need to this. I need like, and I'm like, it's bedtime. Goodbye. Like get out. No, but it is hard on social life and stuff like that to be that intense all the time. But I mean, when you weigh it out, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah. Why so?
I don't know. It just is. It's just, I don't know, like being able to go and just win and just dominate and just in everything you do, not just in the boxing ring, but I feel like that we could do anything and we could just be great at it. We're just like, you just put in the focus and put in the time and it's just transferred so much in every area of my life that it just makes your life so much better when it's worth it. Everybody thinks like you get instant gratification from going out and drinking and partying and it's fun in the moment. But then you wake up the next day and you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so terrible. I'm sick or I'm tired. Or I don't want to do anything. And when you're not doing that, you could just enjoy life so much more. Like it's hard to get to that point, like to tell people that are in that situation that there is a whole better life on the other side of not doing that stuff. But once you're there, it makes your life so much better. You can enjoy life in a totally different way. And to be able to think like, as I get older, like I can do whatever with my kids for so long. Like I can be like so active for the rest of their life. Like whenever they call me, I can go. And like when they turn 18, they want to go skydiving. And I was like, okay, I'll go skydiving. Like, let's do it. Jason's like, no, you won't. But
I feel that. I'm gonna provide pushback though, because I'm a Marine and the Marine Corps was established in a bar, Tun Tavern, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 1775.
Oh my gosh.
And so drinking with the boys is a big culture for Marines.
But okay, listen to this. I kid you not. So there's sometimes that we will go out, like we'll have family in town and like the last time we went swing dancing with my grandma was here. And so we took her swing dancing and I kid you not, like Jason and I, you would literally think that we were probably the drunkest ones in the bar and we were drinking water, but we were just having so much fun, just like drenched in sweat. I danced to like every single song. I just had the most fun. Like Jason was dancing with my grandma and it was just like, you don't even have to,
I get what you mean.
You don't even have to drink. You could just be there and enjoy the moment. And then we wake up the next day, we remember everything and we go train.
Exactly.
Like we get
you
up.
have a headache and you're like, give me some electrolytes.
No, we
ready to go.
We remember everything. We got a good workout in and now let's go train. Like,
that's the most important thing. Being able to have fun, be loose. That's why, well, for alcohol, when I look at it, I always think of it like a social lubricant, but you're right. You're totally right. It's all about having fun, smiling and laughing with your friends. But what was I just saying? Something about you were talking about drinking. And I had a thought in my head. I lost it. This is what always happens. I swear this happened like 50 times when I was talking to Jason. Drinking with the boys. Anyways, I'll move on. We're both 93 babies, right? You're 93?
94.
Oh, January though.
Yeah, January.
So we're close because I'm October 93.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, that's cool.
But so I'm going to throw this out there because your stats are all over online. So unfortunately for you, your age is going to be out there.
No, absolutely. Go, 30. 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So for boxers in combat sports, 30s seems like the early 30s is like the prime champion time. Yeah. How is it now that you're in your prime, entering your prime era? Does age ever play a factor into your mind as you keep going into your career?
So here's the thing. That was for men.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know what it was.
So women is different. Oh, really? We enter our prime later. And is that fact? Really? I don't know, but that's my fact. So, but no, I think that age, like I thought it was going to, like, I thought it would affect the way that I viewed, like, oh my gosh, I need to turn pro right now. Like, I feel like that just basing it off of my age. And honestly, I don't feel that. Like, I know that what I'm doing is working for me and I know that I'm continuously improving. Do I plan on turning pro eventually later down the road? Maybe, yeah. But right now, I just know that what I'm doing right now is really working for me and I'm improving day by day. And I think that when I'm done, I would be done. Not based off of how old I am or anything like that. I think that after I've won all that I can win and become world champion and all the things that I've wanted to accomplish, that's when I'll be done. It doesn't matter how old I am, how long it takes me to get there. I just think that so many people play a lot of role on that, but there's so much science to like, you could stay young for as long as you want, as long as you keep your body healthy and you're doing the right stuff. Like age is really just a number. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, but they really do say that women hit their prime a little bit later than men. So
that's pretty wild thinking that, especially because women go through puberty before men.
Yeah.
You guys are like you got it better.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You go through puberty sooner and reach your prime later. It just sounds like you have a lot more golden years.
Yeah, exactly.
But on the note of age don't matter, Mike Tyson, Jake Paul.
Oh my gosh. See?
Didn't just get canceled.
Did it?
I think it got canceled. Did you hear that? I think it got canceled like yesterday because
I didn't hear that.
There's rumors that I've been diving around because how do you feel about that for one?
So I think it's incredible. Like, I mean, I think it's so cool that like you can look at Mike Tyson and you see he is still so fit. Like you look at it, he still has huge legs. Like he is fit. And is he at his prime? No, obviously not. But it's cool that he could even like play with the idea of actually doing that and actually put on a show. Like, I think that that's really, really cool. And it just goes to show, like, I mean, you take care of yourself, like you could do a lot of stuff. You know what I mean?
He's in his 50s, I think.
Yeah, I think he's like almost 58 or is 58.
Almost 60?
Yeah. But
when he moves around, you see him jump around, it looks like you start getting flashbacks of old Mike Tyson. He's just jumping and switching and bam, bam, bam.
And
bam,
it's still looking so good. Like I just think it's really cool. So if it does happen, I didn't hear that it was canceled. I don't know, but I think it will be really cool.
Yeah. You think he's juiced up? I feel like you got to be juiced up.
You
At that
think
age,
so?
right? You got to be. He's got like big old pecs and stuff.
He does.
But he is just like a freak athlete.
So
too,
I didn't think about that, but now that you say it, maybe.
He better be. I hope he is. And I want him to just put Jake Paul on the ground. So I feel like that's what's going to happen. I actually was looking up videos trying to find the news on Mike Tyson and Jake Paul when I heard that he got canceled. A rumor went around that he was like sparring or something with Jake Paul. I don't know if this is true, but a rumor went around Mike Tyson was sparring with Jake Paul and Jake Paul was like talking shit, taunting him, and Mike Tyson hit him with like a right hook and knocked him out. And then they canceled the fight. And Jake Paul is like trying to get new rules or something reinstated. That's what I heard from yesterday.
Well, that would be, I mean, that would be an interesting story to me, and kind of weird is that they would be sparring each other when they're going to fight.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's a little different. I haven't heard of that.
Yeah,
you know
that's weird.
I mean?
You're going to fight and you guys are going to spar before you fight.
Yeah,
that's what it was on. Like, there's like boxing YouTube news channels that I was looking at. I don't know if they're just making stuff up for clicks, but maybe it seems like that whole fight went on like the hush hush, and maybe they didn't make as much money as they were thinking they were going to make or something.
Yeah.
But what's for you? I love the celebrity fighting things too. A lot of people hate it because they hate the YouTubers, and obviously that's what drives it. You just want to see the downfall of that person.
Yeah.
But it reminds me like of Rocky when he was fighting. Who did he fight? He was fighting like a big dude, some celebrity match, and then they're like, "I thought we were just playing," and then they were like actually fighting. You remember it was like a WWE dude. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was Hulk Hogan.
Hogan?
Yeah. Do you remember that one? It was like number 2, I think.
No, I never knew about that.
Have you watched all the Creeds?
So I've only watched Creed. I've never watched Rocky. I know this is terrible. I'm a boxer.
What the hell? How are you?
I know. I've seen the running scene.
Okay. It ain't about how much you can hit.
I know.
It's about how much you can get. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, I've heard
That's like
that.
a clip. That's got to be like a clip.
I've seen that. Like I've seen the like main parts of it, and I keep everybody asks me about this. Every interview I do, they literally I say I'm going to watch it, and I never do. I need to, but I just
you're not going to watch it, are you?
I'm going to try.
It's old. It's probably a little bit crappy, but I mean, for me, I love it. I feel like it's just so like Classic.
So, and what's funny is I have like deep dives into Sylvester Stallone, like as far as I know the whole backstory, everything. I'm surprised I haven't watched it because I think that the way that he came about that movie is so amazing. And he fought to get that movie so hard. And he actually wanted to be an actor in it. And they're like, you're not an actor, you're a writer. And he's like, no, I'm an actor. I wrote this, but I am going to be the Rocky guy. And they finally paid him like pennies on the dollar to do it. And it became this huge movie. And so I know the whole backstory, but I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, but come on, Sylvester, you didn't even need to get paid. It's your movie. You're paying yourself.
Yeah.
But no, I know, like he had nothing. He was like living in a car or something.
Yeah,
right?
he was homeless.
It.
Yeah.
It's like a love story.
It's
like
cool.
a love story. It's
yeah.
like Lesson on Boxing with him and Adrian.
Yeah.
I think that's a cute part. And the cool thing about it is he loses. So it's like this buildup of this guy who's a nobody gets a chance of a lifetime to fight the champion. For like a exhibit, like a Mike Tyson and Jake Paul thing.
Yeah.
We're going to let somebody just try to see if they can take on our champ. And he loses, but the heart he showed in it is what it makes the movie so great. It's like he stood back up every time, which
he kept like getting back up after he was like knocked down. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something that everyone finds so admirable. Let me, here's a quote from Customato. I would like to hear your thoughts on. He said, every fighter that ever lived had fear. A boy comes to me and tells me that he's not afraid. If I believed him, I'd say he's a liar or there's something wrong with him. I'd send him to a doctor to find out what the hell's the matter with him, because this is not a normal reaction. The fighter that's gone into the ring and hasn't experienced fear is either a liar or a psychopath. What do you think about that?
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
I think so. I think that so they say that we're only born with the fear of like falling and the fear of sound or something like that, like fear of loud noise, like when you're a baby. Those are the only real fears that we have. But just based off of like your parents, like, oh no, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. You're going to fall. You're going to get hurt. You're going to this, you're going to that. We inherently gain fear from that. You know what I mean? Just, so as
we're taught what to be afraid of.
Yeah. What to be afraid of. Like, oh, don't touch that. That's hot. And so we know like, oh, that's hot. And so naturally, everybody is instilled with fear. Like you have to have fear to be able to live. There's things that you should be afraid of that like clearly you shouldn't go and jump off the canyon with no parachute. Like, and we're all taught that. And it's just learning how to control that and to, I think more or less trust all the work that you've put in when you get in the ring and to get those fears and doubts to like quiet. You know what I mean? Just trusting that I have put in the work and I do belong here and believing in yourself. And that I think it comes from training, telling yourself the truth and just doing what you actually say you're going to do every single day. Like when I say I'm going to do something, I do it. And that helps build that confidence that you need to get in the ring. But yeah, I do believe that everybody's afraid. Everybody that gets in there has some form of fear that they're dealing with or doubts or thoughts that come in their head. And it's just how are they dealing with it? You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah. It sounds like kind of like you're describing what it takes to be brave.
Yeah.
And the thing with bravery, it's how do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between bravery and stupidity?
Oh yeah. So, I mean, I guess I would say like I would say the thing that comes to my mind right away is just like rushing in, like aggressively, like being dumb. You know what I mean? Just like, and like as far as if in the ring, and I feel like that would be stupid. But
like the execution.
Yeah. Yeah.
The execution is determining whether you were being brave or you were being stupid.
Yeah. And it all comes down to really like your technique, honestly. Like you want to make sure that you are fundamentally sound and you're not resorting to just like I'm just going to flare and just run in. And if I get caught with something, oh, well, and you're definitely going to get caught with something eventually. You know what I mean? And so like, that's where I would draw the line, is make sure that you are fundamentally sound in whatever you are doing. And you're not just rushing in just to get going. You know what I mean? So I guess that's where I would draw the line.
I feel like you were leaning a lot towards preparation too. For the fear thing, especially. Like, everyone comes in with fear, but it's that preparation that makes you feel like ready and the ability to get brave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And in there, like when your preparation isn't all the way there, I feel like that's when fear can play a big role. Mm-hmm. Like if you are going into a match or a fight or anything and you feel like, oh, I could have done a little bit extra, or maybe I shouldn't have went out that night, or maybe I shouldn't have ate those foods I chose to eat. That's what all those things that shouldn't even be in your head, they start to play a toll, and it has nothing to do with the fight at all, but it like pulls you back from actually being great. Cause you're worried about, oh, I ate that last week, or I went out last week, or I didn't go to the gym all those days. Like I should have been in the gym a little bit more. Like, and you're trying to play catch up. Yeah. Yep. That's when you start to doubt yourself.
I just was thinking about you talking about when we were talking about drinking and stuff. Floyd Mayweather, going along with the preparation, I heard that Floyd Mayweather would go to clubs and he'd be drinking water the whole time, and he would jog home in his like club clothes to like get cardio in at night and stuff. So it seems like for boxers, just living in that prepared state, always thinking, I got to be ready. I can't be like letting a dip happen into your training or body or whatever. So it seems like boxing seems like a very useful tool to enhance one's mindset towards life, which leads me into my next question. How has your pursuit of excellence in boxing helped you in understanding the human experience, through the nature of competition and violence and whatnot?
So I feel like that before boxing, I was like very shy, insecure, like very quiet, reserved. I came to boxing like for weight loss and just fell in love with it. And I feel like that it's allowed me to grow in so many different ways. Like I am more sure of myself. Like it's like the silliest thing ever, but I can say no to people and like that I don't want to do something and be okay with it. And before I would just, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Like, and not even be able to do it. I would just figure out a way to do it just so I didn't have to say no to somebody. I was just a huge yes person. And I feel like boxing has given me the confidence to be able to do that. And also like to know that like I trust myself, and like that for me, I love that, because at the end of the day, like you have to live with yourself for the rest of your life. Like, I mean, if people don't like you, that's going to happen in life. But if you don't like your own self, like if you're fighting your own self, like then your life is just miserable every day, day in and day out. To be able to wake up and trust yourself and love yourself and push yourself to these like incredible limits, it just changes the way that you see everything. Like, and nothing seems impossible in that aspect. Like, and I even tell my kids, like, I'm really big on, my kids are so confident. They are so confident and they are so like dependable. If they tell you they're going to do something, they will do it. Like, yeah, do they not do their chores sometimes? Yeah, they're kids. But like as far as other things goes, like they will do whatever they say they're going to do. And I tell them all the time, like, honestly, all these skills that you have learned in the gym and being able to trust yourself, like you guys can grow up and do whatever you want. You don't have to compete. You don't have to even do anything as far as competition. I said, but whatever you decide that you want to do, you could do it. And you know how to commit, you know how to get up every day and put in the work, and like whatever you decide to do, you will be able to do it. I guarantee it 100%. And so that is really cool to me to see that. And it's just really cool because they're so young watching it. And it took me a long time to get to that point. So it's very cool to me being a parent and seeing that they get to bypass like all of the years that I suffered, like when I was overweight and I would lie to myself, or I'd say, I'm going to start a diet today and I don't start, or I'm going to start a diet next week and I don't, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to run. All these things that you just continuously lie to yourself over and over and over again. And it makes you miserable. And it's cool that they get to bypass all that stuff, and they've just learned so much self-discipline and self-respect. And yeah, just boxing has taught me a lot. Jason, he's very bad about that, and he has it so loud all the time.
Oh my gosh. And she was just doing that was the best quotable moment right there. No, but your kids, especially, like, knowing, some bit of your guys' history about, just what you guys have been through, those kids, they're going to be studs. They're just like, they're set up to be winners. And with the upbringings that you guys had to conquer, I would say, I just want to feel like statistically, they probably shouldn't be the way they are, but they got some great influences between you and Jason, just teaching them how to take on adversity, be resilient, and to be good people.
Yeah,
they seem like just
absolutely.
Such good people.
And I feel like it's so cool for them to see us like all the way from the garage. Like Riley doesn't really remember the garage a whole lot, but like Skylar was old enough to remember it, and they remember it a little bit, but just starting in the garage and just how much work we put in to get where we are today. I think it's so cool for them to just be along for the ride, like, and just know that if you decide to do something, you can do whatever you wanted to do. Is it going to be hard in the beginning? Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be, but you commit day in and day out and you'll get there. And they have that so much, and it's so cool.
They're going to be some remarkable men.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
They're already remarkable little men.
Yeah. They're awesome.
So funny. Except for when they break windows at the gym.
Yeah.
Riley always brings that up. He's like, for some reason, that's just a memory he always wants to ask me if I remember. He goes, hey, remember when we broke that window? And I go, yeah, I remember. I'll see him again like, weeks later, he'll say the same thing. I'm like, this must be traumatic for you or something.
Were you were there?
I was right there. Yeah. I was right there. They were like bouncing the bouncy ball off the wall or something.
Thanking the Lord that you were there.
They knew, dude. The silence after that window broke and the look in their faces was like, we fucked up.
Oh, yeah.
It was hilarious.
Oh,
I was like,
God.
I wanted to get out of there. I was like, all right, I cannot be near you guys. I gotta get some space. Jason's gonna think I helped you guys. Oh my gosh, those two are so funny. That scene with the freaking Skylar, the plunger on Riley's face. That was I had to go into my documentary filmmaker mode and be like, I'm not interfering. I'm not their parent. Let me just record these kids literally putting a plunger that probably has been on so many strangers like poop.
So we didn't even know that until we seen the video. Yeah. And we seen it for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, what are they doing?
Yeah, I can't be a snitch.
That is the funniest. Yeah, you never told us.
I know, I always do that when I'm just shooting documentary stuff, especially because like I have to try to get people's trust a little bit so that I'm not gonna snitch on you. And plus, I was raised a little bit with gangster principles where it's like snitches get stitches.
Oh God,
dude, Irvina's the worst at that. She's like the most goody two shoes.
Oh,
wants to snitch. She'll snitch me out. I literally asked her the other day. I was like, so what if the cops came and they knocked and they're like, hey, we need to put a wire on you. We found out Jason did a murder and we need you to incriminate him. She's like, well, why'd you do a murder? And I'm like, I had to paint a gray, it was a bad guy. He was a cartel guy or something. I had he had it coming. She was like, well, I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
She don't know. That's what I'm saying. What? What do you mean you don't know? You're not snitching. You can't be a snitch.
That's so funny.
But she grew up different. She actually grew up with good ethics and how to be a good person. But I was like, that's how you become a Nazi. No, just kidding. Just listen to whatever the law is.
Yeah,
sometimes it's not the best thing. You got to watch out for your community. Speaking of community, you guys are the best at building a community. You guys have built such a such a tight community around here. I feel like everybody I run into, they know you guys, heard of you guys because of the way you guys interacted. I mean, even from Jason was at Boys and Girls Club to all the way to here, you guys have just been building this community. I was just at the gym and I was at Gold's gym and I ran into some guy and he was like, because I was punching a bag there, and this guy came over to me. He's like, "Oh, do you do training?" I was like, "Yeah." So I'll go do some training at Fan Boxing sometimes. And they're like, "Oh, I just started at Jerome. Like there's a one in Jerome that he goes to. I don't know. It's like in downtown. I've seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It's called a North Side, I think is what it's called. Right.
North Side.
North
and then
Side.
I know there's the other gym, Fighters Chance in Burley.
In Burley, yeah.
I haven't really met those guys, but it just seems like how's the relationship between all these different local gyms here? Is it get more like rivalry? Because this is like an aggressive sport. Does like rivalry start emerging, or is this just like purely friendly? Like how does that go?
I think that it is like, well, as far as the one in Burley, we're like super good friends with them. Like we've done events with them. They come down and train with us all the time. Like, and they are just like, we're super, super good friends with them. We like give them a bunch of our recovery stuff. They come down and get recovery all the time with us. And their head coach, Storm, is actually going to my next fight with us. So he's going to Tennessee with us and he's going to be in my corner too with Jason.
Really?
Yeah. So
Nice.
that's how close we are with them. We're really close with them.
Didn't they have like a pretty hard? Didn't they like flood or something? The roof caved in. What happened?
So the day that it rained a ton, the roof flooded.
It was like a while back. Though.
Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah. They've done a complete like remodel and redid it and stuff. And so, but yeah, they did have like a big issue with that. But
I'm glad they recovered.
yeah, no, absolutely. But they're super cool and they're super active too. They were just at the fights yesterday too, when in Boise. So they're super active. As far as the ones in Jerome, they're just so small still and just coming up. Okay. They're really new. But we don't have like rivalry with them or anything. Like they actually had a girl in our fights that we had here in town. So they put their girl in and we got her a fight and she fought in ours and they stayed and supported the whole event and everything. Awesome. So yeah. So there's no issues there. We're not as close with them as we are with Storm, but Storm and them have just been around for a while and we're just really good friends with them. So
it's just friendships, relationships that have been fostered.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the cool thing about you guys is you guys are always trying to bring people in to fight, especially you, because you need people. Yeah. And everyone's dodging you all the time.
Oh
like
my
no
gosh,
one wants to
it's
spar
so
with you.
irritating.
And you guys flew in that one girl from Puerto Rico for the fight in February. It was on
Pizzani? Is that how you
Why
say
you gotta
it?
give it a question mark too? I'm asking you. No. She was good.
I think
she
that's
did
how
good.
you say it. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up? Is she upcoming?
So she's actually been boxing as long as I have.
Oh, really?
I think she's been boxing a little bit longer than me. She just doesn't have as much fights as I have. Like when we started, we're just very active. Like, you want to fight? Okay, let's go. We're going. And so, just to get experience, that's what you have to do, especially being a girl that you don't have that much options. Mm-hmm. And so, but she has been boxing for a really long time too. So I knew taking the fight, it was going to be a really good fight. Mm-hmm. And so I was really excited about that. And then we were super excited that she took the fight. I think she actually commented on it as a joke. And like, if you pay for my ticket, I'll come fight her. And cause I've sparred her before a while back. And cause she did used to train out of Utah. And then, so I was like, well, message her and say, yeah, we'll pay for it. Like, are you serious? And so she's like, oh, seriously? Yeah, I'll come. And we're like, yeah, we'll pay for travel, hotel, everything, like come down. And so we were super happy to get somebody because we put it out on like everything. We reached out to all the 165s that we knew. And, 154s, everybody. We were just trying to get somebody. And so we were super glad that she ended up taking the fight. So it worked out good. Yeah,
that's awesome. And your weight class, 75 kilograms.
Yeah.
That's at 160s?
165, yeah.
165?
Yeah.
That one's, it seems to be more like you have less of a pool of girls coming to fight you all the time.
Yeah.
Than like tiny people.
Then there's just more smaller girls. And
that makes sense.
that is so that all their, my weight class, as far as it's not the last weight class, but as far as Olympics, the Olympic weight classes, it is the heaviest weight class for the Olympics. So there is another weight class, 2 weight classes above it, 178 and 178 plus. But the 165 is the last weight class that they consider for the Olympics. But yeah, there's just more smaller girls. So they kind of get a little bit more options, but.
Yeah, because that's just something I've just, since I've known you guys, always struggling to get people to come into the ring with you, just even for sparring, not just let alone a fight. But that fight that she came for from Puerto Rico, that was a cool event. Yeah, especially in your gym and the way the new gym is. Yeah, with you guys got it huge. It was awesome.
It turned out so good, and it was a lot of fun, and it was so much fun to see how much community support we actually do have, because it was flooded with people. Like there were so many people from the community that came to support, and that was so cool to see that. Like we ran out of seats before the event even started, and so we told you could pay for a ticket, but you have to stand. Like there's no more seats, and so that was just so cool to see that.
It's so cool, the world you live in now. You have so much community support. You pop in the news all the time. Yeah. You get articles, stuff like that.
They just do articles on me now just to do it. Like they I guess they follow me. Yeah. And like the last one they just did of me winning this nationals last week or the week before. And I didn't even know they did it. Somebody posted it. I think Jose posted it from the gym. And I was like, oh my gosh, the news did an article on me.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
And I had no idea, but
it's for like athletes, local athletes. It's almost like our proxy of war. You know what I mean? Like that's our best warrior. And we're going to show everybody that us here in Twin Falls, we're the shit. You know what I mean? Like we're sending our best out there. Yeah. So I feel like athletes in particular, when we have athletes from our area that do good, it's just like everyone wants to get behind them. Like, ooh, like that's us. That's our people.
It's so cool. Yeah, it is really cool to see all that.
I'm gonna hit you with another quote. I got some quotes for you here that I want to see if you agree.
Okay.
This one is by Tim Grover, a trainer for Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, a really famous trainer. And he said, anyone can start something. Very few people can finish. Greatness makes you a legend. Being the best makes you an icon. If you want to be great, deliver the unexpected. If you want to be the best, deliver a miracle. What do you think he meant by that?
I think that, like he said, it's easy to like pick up a thing and decide I'm going to do this today. And then when like the hard work sets in is like day after day after day of putting in the work, and it can get monotonous. Like it can get monotonous going to the gym every single day and working on your jab, working on your right hand, working on your backhand, bend your knees. Like those things get like very monotonous, and it's really easy to like stray away from those things and just want to do the fun stuff. Like I just want to spar. I just want to do this. I just want to do that. I just want to compete. It's very easy to do the fun stuff, but the people that stick to the fundamentals, that stick to improving on those things, those are the ones that make the legends and the Kobe Bryants and the Michael Jordans and Dwayne Wade, or like those are the ones. Yeah.
Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks one time. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just sticking to that. And even like accepting that, the fundamentals like is the foundation of everything. Sticking to the fundamentals is what will help you excel higher and higher and higher. So
I completely feel that, especially for the beginning of the quote where he says anyone can start, but very few people can finish. But I get a little bit lost for me trying to understand Tim Grover. And I saw your story. You just finished a Tim Grover book. Was it Relentless is what it was?
Relentless, yeah.
How was that?
It was good.
It was a good one?
It was really good, yeah. You haven't?
This is actually a quote from that book. So I wanted to, and it seems like a good book. What was the biggest takeaway you got from that?
So he talks a lot about like our dark side. And like, he talks a lot about, I really resonated with that a lot, like using your dark side to fuel you and just being in control. I feel like that everybody has really a dark side that they can call up and use. And it's just controlling that. Like, can you control all of the things that like could potentially bring you down? And if you can be in control of that, like you can be great. You know what I mean? And it can help you to exceed like all your wildest dreams. Like he talks a lot about that in this book, and I really resonated with that a lot. I really liked that.
For me, I imagine the light side, the side of good, to be revolving around adjectives like kindness, love, empathy. The dark side, what do you think the dark side is?
I feel like for everybody, it's different. And you kind of have to figure out, like, some people like are like really severe gamblers. Some people are like, and it doesn't really have to be a bad thing. Like, it's not necessarily like this is a bad thing about you and you need to control this. And it doesn't really necessarily have to be a bad thing. It could be anything. Like for instance, like starting from like being overweight and just using like all of those people that called you fat or ugly and just like knowing that part is inside of me and being able to call up that and use that to my advantage. You know what I mean? And some people if, for instance, like I use the example gambling a lot, or like if you let it overtake you, then that's when you start to fail. Like, and you'll see like, if you read this part of the book, then you start to like analyze like every elite, not even just athlete, elite, like CEO of companies or they all have some kind of dark side that they're trying to control. And if you can control that, you can be great. But if you don't keep it in control, it can eventually like take over. You know what I mean? So like, Tiger Woods had his like affairs. And eventually, like you see the downfall of Tiger Woods was when it came out, and instead of admitting it and moving on and just being okay with it, he took a different route and like apologized for it and said that he was wrong for it, instead of just owning it and I messed up and this is who I am, and deal with the consequences later and still continue to be great. He retreated and was like, oh, like, I'm sorry. And it's a part of you that you have to own, and a part of you that you need to be able to call upon to bring yourself to that whole different level. And it's just, for anybody, it could be anything for so many different people. It could be like him just sleeping around or gambling or, like being overweight. It could just be anything, you know, okay. Like that is something that I really like.
I would say though, Tiger Woods, maybe, so he went and had those affairs, but I don't know if that diminishes anything from being the best at that sport.
No, absolutely. But after that was when he started the downfall. People started beating him.
I don't know crap about golf.
Yeah. Like, so after it was boring. It is. I don't know crap about it either, but I love like people that are very elite at things. So I will listen to like those select few people. But after that was when people actually beat him.
So I guess if looking at people who were great that were in your field, like the one that everyone will think of is Mike Tyson. I could use Muhammad Ali, but he's too just great of a character that I'm going to point out a flaw there. But Mike Tyson, man of many flaws. And I think people could argue that Mike Tyson didn't really have control of his dark side completely. I mean, he went to prison. He was, savage.
Yeah.
I'll fuck you till you love me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was fucking crazy.
He was savage. Yeah.
And it's like, but that part is like, kind of, I think what made him almost so memorable and great, because that savagery, you saw it in the ring.
Yeah.
And it felt like a fire. It felt like a fire out of control, but it actually was so precise and perfect.
And it was in control.
Yeah.
When it became out of control was when his trainer died.
Yeah.
And he had no more way of controlling it. his trainer was his like link to keep him in control of, did he do bad things in that meantime? Yeah. But then Customato was like, okay, get it together, own it, let's move on. You know what I mean? But when it became out of control and he was no longer able to perform was when he passed away. And then it was like, he didn't know how to control it on his own. And that's when his big, huge downfall came to as well.
That's the post, I think it was Buster Douglas fight where he's like at the end where he's going like, I just don't got it in me anymore. I just don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I think that's the post-fight interview. Do you know him, right? Yeah, that one. That all makes so much sense what you're saying.
That's so sad.
It's because his Customato, it was like his ground. It's like Mike Tyson was like a burst of electricity. And it's just once the ground was gone from Customato, who kept him grounded, it was started just burning everything, shocking everything around him. Wow. Well, I think that's a good point. How do you reconcile between the violence / aggression of boxing with the motive of that we're all trying to get, which is live a peaceful, happy life? You live in a world of violence and aggression, although it's controlled, like we just talked about. How do you find that balance where you got to turn your brain on and off between wanting to punch people in the face and wanting to just smile and be good around people?
Yeah.
Is it hard?
So this is something, it's so interesting that you asked me this question because this is something I've really been focusing on, and especially as of late. And it has been more to increase the amount of like savagery inside of me. And I know that sounds like so terrible, but I have been like, I never really, so I guess how could I never thought of our sport really as violent. Like I thought I would, when I would picture myself in competition or competing, like I would just think in my head, I am so skilled and I've trained so many hours and I've put in so much work and I've worked on all of these things. Like I will just outbox them and just be a better boxer. And like, would I imagine giving them like 8 counts and stuff? Yeah. But as far as like actually tapping into like, I am getting in a ring with somebody and I'm just here to like, we're like telling myself the truth. We both get in the ring to inflict as much pain on the other person as possible without getting hurt and without them doing it to us. But coming to accept that has taken me a little bit longer. So I feel like for girls, we really don't, it's not something that's instilled in us. Like for men, being violent is more like inherited as you're younger. But as girls, you're always taught like, be nice and cross your legs when you sit down. And like, it's not something that's really instilled in you to be like a savage. And so I've really been working on like finding that switch that when I step in the ring, I am savage. Like I am coming after you and I am savage. Like I am going to do everything I can possible. And it's taken a while. Like at first when I was visualizing it in my head, it was this so like newfound thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've never visualized like actually hitting somebody and hurting them, like in like actual hurting them. And it was just like, I was like, it was almost uncomfortable for me to visualize that. Like I kept having to make myself like when I was shadowboxing, like refocus to get the visualization back. And, but now it seems to be coming more and more and more like, and that I know at the end of the day, like they're getting in the ring to do the exact same thing to me. So I know that that's what I need to come to, you know what I mean? Like, and it's been such a like profound thing that I've come into as of lately. And it was really one of our coaches at the gym kept telling me that like, I'm too nice. Like you're too nice. And I was like, why do you keep saying that? It would just make me so mad. I'm like, I'm not being nice to them. I don't know why you're saying that. Like, and when I finally came to like realize this, I was like, oh my gosh, that's what he's talking about. And then, and it's changed like the intensity of my training. Cause I mean, if you're just training, working on fundamentals, now you're training like I am a savage and I am working on the fundamentals. Like, I mean, that just increases your intensity so much more. And it's been really fun kind of like coming into that. And so it's been really cool, like even seeing, like it's been as of recent, like even seeing this last fight too as well, like, okay, like my like flame inside of me is just growing more and more and more. And so it's been really cool kind of doing that. And then when I came home, that coach came in and he was like, okay, that was better, but I want more. And I was like, okay. Like,
it sounds like it's like the difference between I'm going to go play my sport versus I'm going to war.
Yeah.
I'm going to war to protect all my loved ones, to make sure we have food on the table.
Exactly.
Because your guys' job is a clout stealing world. You're either taking someone's clout by beating them, or they're taking your clout because they beat you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a rough world.
Yeah.
Because you can be as best buds with, hey, I like you. You get in there, but they're taking yours.
Yeah.
And they're leaving you in the dust.
Exactly.
And they're going without you.
Yeah.
So it's like they really are kind of taking the bread off the table of your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And at the end of the day, like, training is really like, I don't work outside of the gym, and it's really like what we do for work too as well. And so it's just more intense too. So it's kind of interesting. Yeah. It's been a whole new thing that we've come to like think about. And I've even chatted with Skylar about it a little bit, my oldest son. And it was so funny because he was like he's like, you don't think about that? And then I was like, no. And I was like, you do? He's like, yeah. He's like, that last fight we had here? And I was like, oh yeah. He's like, yeah, you should have seen me and Sam. We're looking through that guy that I was fighting through the window. And I was like, oh, this retard, I'm going to beat him so bad. I can't even believe he came to my gym. What is he thinking he's doing here? And I was just like, what?
I think once that testosterone starts seeping into our male biological bodies, things get a little crazy.
But it was just so funny. I was like, I can't believe you think like that. And then like once I started thinking about it, and then I was just like, all these thoughts coming. I was like, I can't believe, like, I just started thinking, I can't believe you think you're gonna come in here and beat me, and just like it was just like it's been
the invaders.
Yeah, it's been really fun. Like it's been cool. But
that's hilarious. This is so different than what I thought, because I was coming into this question like, how do you stop yourself from being so violent? But it's the opposite. That's my male perspective, because I think probably testosterone in us does have that impact. Like, males been going to war, slicing each other's heads off for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's in your biology.
Yeah, it's like genetic, where it's like war. And I mean, obviously women in history have been, tending to families and things like that. So I never even considered it, of what the psychology for you must be. It's the reverse. You have to you have to get your mind more almost like men warrior like. Where you're like, I'm going to war.
Yeah, exactly.
Kill these invaders. And that's honestly, you're the sweetest person ever. Like, it's so funny to me that you wanted to be like a nurse or something before, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to fix people.
Yeah.
You wanted to help people with their wounds. And then you switched to giving people wounds.
I know.
Literally.
I know.
What a switch of careers. Like, I want to help. I heard your podcast with Joey Bravo was pediatrics or something with kids.
To specialize in pediatrics.
The most sweet thing you could do.
Yeah.
Go help kids with their wounds and stuff, to fighting grown women in like literally a confined space. Like that's a wild change.
It is.
And it seems like it's been really good for you though.
Yeah.
Because I just remember, especially talking with you, like from your past, like you were saying, you were like a chunky girl. You didn't even do sports in high school or nothing. I think you did something before once. I did it
like 1 year in 7th grade. And
was it basketball?
I did basketball and volleyball. So like I did volleyball first, and it was only just, I had a friend that did it, and she's like, you should come try out. I was like, okay, I'll go. Yeah. And I think everybody made the team, but, so I did volleyball, and then I made this friend group, and everybody was transitioning. Basketball was next. So then I did basketball too. But those are the only times I ever did it. It was just that 1 year in 7th grade, and that was it.
And I'd bet that you're even nicer now than you were back then, not regardless of age, but probably because of just the sport that you're doing. I found it seems like the more dangerous the person, the more capable they really are in actual like martial arts fight. I feel like the nicer they are.
Oh yeah.
Like their ego drops and they understand what they're capable of and what they're not capable of, because you get humbled in the gym all the time.
And I agree. I agree with that 100%. And also just being around other athletes too. Everybody is really like that. As in our sport, everybody is really loving, really nice. And I feel like that we get a lot of people that think that it's going to be the opposite. Like they're nervous to bring their kids to the gym, and they're already being bullies or whatever, and they don't want them to like learn to fight, and they're going to be even more bullies. It's actually the opposite. That we've had like people that bring their kids to the gym that are huge bullies that have actually bullied Skylar.
What?
And yeah,
that's the wrong kid to bully.
I know. And they come to the gym and they're completely different children. They're so different. They're like, their parents will come tell us like, this is the best my kid has ever been. And he's not bullying people, like he's not getting in trouble and like all of this stuff. And even Skylar got bullied at school one year, like, and this kid ended up taking him down when they were playing football. And so Skylar's like, okay, no rushing. Like we're just playing, no rushing. So then the next play, that kid rushes him again, takes him to the ground. And he's like, how's that for rushing? And so Skylar gets him, takes him down and puts him in a chokehold. He's like, okay, no more. And like, he kept trying to like deflect it. He's like, no more. And then that kid gets up and swings at Skylar. So he's telling me this story. He's like, Mom, I just dodged it and jabbed him in the face.
Ooh, that is gangster. That is such a gangster move.
I was like, so I get to the school. I get to the school to pick up Skylar because he got suspended, obviously. And this poor kid sitting there with like, this towel's all bloodied up and his nose is bleeding. And so I pick up Skylar. I am like furiously mad. And he is like dying, shaking in his pants. Like, what did Jason say? And I was like, I don't know. Jason's at an appointment. I was like, but you were in so much trouble. And I had already chatted with Jason, and he was already on the, oh, did he win? Well, what happened? And so I was like, well, you want to fight? We're going to the gym. It's time for me to train. And so I was like, you can go train. And
oh my God.
So we go to the gym.
He's just proud he executed good technique. He's like, good stuff.
I jabbed him in the face. So we go to the gym, and then Jason finally shows up because he was at an appointment, and Skylar's just so nervous. He's like sitting on the ring, like he's so scared. And Jason comes in and he does not yell at him or anything. And he tells me later, he's like, Mom, I thought I was going to get spanked. And I was like, Jason's never spanked you. Oh my God. He's like, yeah, but I thought I was going to this time. And Jason comes in like talking to him about, oh, well, did you win? You know, you're not supposed to be fighting and blah, blah, blah. But he tried everything he could to like deflect the situation because he knew like what he was actually capable of. And then when it came down to it, when that kid starts swinging, he's like, oh, okay, like I'm not going to let you hit me.
Yeah,
like,
there's a line.
Yeah.
You gotta stand up for yourself. Otherwise you'll be literally obliterated by the assholes.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I always talk about this, the tolerant-intolerant paradox.
Yeah.
I was reading the Dhammapada. It's the Buddhist book, and it's so pacifist. I really enjoyed a lot of the things it said, and I thought it was really cool. But there was a part that me, just as a Marine, I just could not get by. And there was this ultimate pacifism where if people are doing wrong against you, still do nothing against them. And it was like, you just but it's a paradox where if you are completely tolerant, you're going to get obliterated by the people who are intolerant.
Yeah.
They won't stand. They have a line. They don't like you. They're going to do whatever they can to get rid of you. And if you're just going to tolerate it, you're not even going to have a chance of being able to stand up for what you think is right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that also is just a bit of like the warrior ingrained in me through the Marine Corps. And I think just in general, as humans, we have that. It's like, you feel like a right to be able to stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
Like defense. So yeah, I think it seems like Skylar drew the line at the right spot. He was not going to take that kid. That kid needed to be taught a lesson. Like he was going to do that to everybody probably.
Exactly.
And it's so funny. jabs are really valuable. Like I feel like we sleep on it. At least I do. Like where you think like this is a weak punch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's like a little punch, but dang, jabs, they work. You can hit hard with a jab. So
Yeah.
and they're quick. They're so
they're
quick.
fast.
So it's a good punch. It's a solid punch. What's your favorite punch?
I would say, I don't know. I'd say I do jab a lot.
Yeah.
Like I would say that
What's your strongest punch where you feel
I
like
would say,
that connects?
like my backhand for sure.
Yeah.
And
cross
in both stances, I would say like in my left-handed stance, I can literally think in my head, like, oh, I'm going to land an overhand. And it is like an overhand left and it will land every single time on the side of their head, every single time. No doubt. 100%. I would just think it in my head and be like, oh, it's open, and I'll land it. And right away, that has been a really, really good punch for me. And then also my right hand too is very, very strong. And especially now, turning my hips even more, it being a little bit more fundamentally sound, and it's getting a lot stronger. So that is been really good too. I've really been focusing on that too.
Feeling the smack better. Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, let me get you with one more quote, if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
I put these together just because I would love to hear. This one's from the greatest of all time. Who do you think? Who do you think is the greatest of all time? Boxer.
Oh, Muhammad Ali.
Oh, that's who it is from. Yeah.
Yeah, just because he says that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Mike Tyson calls Muhammad Ali the greatest. I feel like if he's bowing down,
Really?
we should all really follow. So you know what I mean? And I think people consider him the greatest also because of his mind. He seemed like he was very he stood up for himself for immoral reasons too a lot.
Yeah.
Like even like with Vietnam and all that, that man had balls in the ring and just in society.
Yeah.
So he said, only a man who knows what it is like to be defeated can reach down to the bottom of his soul and come up with the extra ounce of power it takes to win when the match is even. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that, put yourself in that situation where you feel like you were trying your best, but maybe it's not good enough? What do you dig into when it's at that moment in a match?
I feel like that's when all of the things that like you are trying to fight to outside of the ring comes into play too. Like what I was saying, like your dark side comes into play. What you're fighting for comes into play. Like I think a lot of every fight that I've ever had, the last round, I always think about my kids before I go out. Like the last round, I say in my head, like this last 3 minutes, and then I will picture my kids in my head. And that is like something that like I will help me get through the last round, you know what I mean? And reach for a little bit more. And, but yeah, I agree with that 100%. And especially when you've been down and when you've been defeated before, you know what that feeling feels like. So you definitely don't want to feel that feeling again. So it could give you the extra boost that you need to win the match. And so I 100% agree with that. That's awesome.
I just have Bosco, my little dog. So I can't understand what love you must have, that feeling. I'm just going to say I love the crap out of my dog. And I bet it's like 100 times that once you have your own little babies.
Yeah.
What is it about your kids? Like what gives you that fuel? You know, it's another person. You would think you would go internal about you. You know, when I think about David Goggins and his worst moments, everything goes out the window and you're like, who am I? For you, I mean, you're a mother. So there's that mama bear instinct. Yeah. What is that fuel that you get from your kids? Why is that fuel?
I don't know. I think it is just the kids really are, it's like what is like our legacy that is left. And like eventually like we all grow old and like, but when you're raising kids, like that's, you're just building like the best person you can build. And it like, and yeah, they are going to be their own person, do their own things and stuff like that. But like you're just instilling the very best into these kids. Like I want the very best life for them, like, I don't want to say easiest life, but I want to be able to teach them the very most of everything and to where they can grow up and live so much better than what I was grown up to. And I feel like as parents, that's everybody's goal. Like I want my kids to live a better life than I had. And for me, they just give me so much energy. I just want to be the very best human I can be for them inside the ring, outside the ring, just all the time. I just feel like that means everything to me. Like, and that like when I think about them, it can give me so much fuel. Like, I'm like, okay, like I can do this. Like, and especially that they do it too. Like not that it's like, it's a big deal for me to be doing it, but knowing that my kids compete too and are like very, very good at it, like it just is like, well, like they're younger than you and they're doing it. Like, I mean, what's your excuse? Like you got this, you know what I mean? Now go freaking do it. And so it just gives me like the fire to keep going.
Set the example.
Yeah.
It's weird how it's like you can dig more. It's almost like how religion, gives people power too.
Yeah.
Like when you are doing something for a greater purpose, it's like you can go even further than you would have if it was just on you.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe that 100%.
That is beautiful. What is your dream fight? Do you have a dream fight? Do you have like a dream fight that you wish I would love to fight this person?
I don't know. There's like a lot. Like is like pro or
I don't know. Just whatever. Do you have a visual of anything where you're like, this is a fight I would love to have someday?
I mean, like there's so many that would be freaking amazing. And I feel like there's so many that are coming up now too, which the girls division is growing a lot, which is so cool. But I feel like right now, like if you were to ask me that as far as pro, I would say Katie Taylor, just because I just idolize her. I think she's so phenomenal and I would just love to like share the ring with her. But I would also say Clarissa Shields too, just because we're both in the same division. She was the 165-pound champ for the Olympics and won 2 gold medals. So I've always like, my dream was like, I want to win the gold medal for the 165-pound division and then eventually like fight her in the pros to like, we both won gold medals. And that was like the biggest thing that I would think about too. So I would say both of them.
That would be a sick fight.
Yeah.
I feel, is she still in boxing?
Yeah.
I thought wasn't she supposed to do like MMA or something?
She's doing both right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's doing boxing and MMA right now. I think she just did an MMA fight.
Oh, really? How did that go?
She won. She did
really?
good. Yeah. She did a lot better than her last one. So she is like improving. And so.
Do you think you would ever transition into another combat sport ever? Is that ever something you thought about ever?
I don't think so.
No, boxing's your baby.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah.
There's a specific science of boxing that even training your whole life, it seems like you just to be perfect at it.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Okay, I have actually something that I want to give you guys before we wrap this up. I have a gift.
Oh.
So if you don't know, we made I have to say, so I went to the boxing match and some girls was like, "Oh, this is a videographer who works at Family Boxing," and I took a little offense because I'm like, video. We made an award-winning documentary film, so we got to make sure people remember. I wanted you guys to have some little thing from that. So, I got you guys.
Oh my gosh.
A sick poster with all the awards that we got from it. So that's for you guys to take.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's a screenshot from one of the scenes in the film. And the only reason I got to blow it up to poster, it looks like quality resolution, right?
Yeah, it looks so good.
The power of AI. I was like, you cannot do that ever. But now with content aware stuff, I can blow up my screenshots to literally be posters. So I was so excited to get that done for you guys.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I love it.
You're welcome.
That is so cool.
I'm glad you like it.
I love it.
So Do you have any upcoming goals? What's going on with you? Let's finish this off. Let us know what's going on.
So we just fought in the national tournament. So and then Wednesday we're leaving to go fight in Nashville. So I'll fight Saturday the 30th in Nashville, and then from there, 2 weeks from there, I will fight in the regional Golden Gloves tournament. So we have to fight to make the national team. And so I will fight, for sure one time, April 12th or 13th, but I might have 2 fights. So maybe I will fight twice there. And then from there, I'll have like a little bit of a break. It ends up being like 3 weeks of a break instead of 2 weeks. But then I'll go to the National Golden Gloves tournament, which is like a really big, prestigious tournament. So
where's that going to be held at?
Detroit.
Oh, nice. You guys do a lot of traveling.
Yeah.
This is a good job to go around and see America, especially.
Yeah, so we're going to Nashville and then Salt Lake and then Detroit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Family, boxing, and fitness. Everybody, if you want to learn how to be a killer, you want to have them hands. They even do jiu-jitsu. And what all do you guys provide at Family Boxing Fitness? Yeah,
so we do boxing, jiu-jitsu, and we just started a wrestling team too. So we are doing wrestling now too. And MMA, yeah.
They got a cage. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's so much bigger than when I first started there.
Yeah.
You guys got an octagon. You guys got a boxing cage. You got bags everywhere. You got weightlifting everywhere.
Yeah.
You got the sprinting machines, stair steppers, a sauna, cryotherapy. You guys literally are a one-stop shop for literally becoming a beast.
Yeah.
So Family Boxing and Fitness, you want to be a beast? Go there. Other than that, national champion, Kendra Samargis, Jason Samargis with a commentary from the couch. Thank you, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.
Thank you.